Okay, so now what we're doing is we're working on symmetry. So that means everything on this side of the paper is gonna transfer to the opposite side of the paper. The side of the paper that I drew on, that is the only side of the paper that I'm allowed to put paint on. And this is actually, it's paint, but it's actually called India ink. It's an ink and it's black and it's very runny. I need to be really careful of this because I don't want to get it all over the place. I don't want to drip it all over my table. I definitely don't want to get it on my clothes. So again, I can only put the India ink on the side that has the drawn butterfly. So I only can do a little bit at a time because it's gonna dry kind of fast. So you're gonna watch me do it first and then we'll do it together. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna follow the body. Now, when you go ahead and fold your paper, remember we did that pivot of the fold. When you fold it, because it's a little bit runny, it might change the line that you actually created before, but that's okay. Sometimes it'll like squish out at the top a little bit. If you get it on your hands, just grab a tissue. It's not that big of a deal. And then I'm gonna open it up and it should have transferred to the other side. And it actually kind of looks like eyes, which is weird. Now, if it's not dark enough on the left-hand side, remember I can't paint on that side. What I can do is I can go back and I can add a little bit more paint. And when you add it, if you kind of make it look shiny, that tells you that it's ready to go. And then I'm gonna fold it and I'm gonna rub, okay? So every time I fold, I'm always rubbing to kind of move the lines, and that creates some cool, interesting shapes, okay? And then I'm gonna open it back up. Cool. Now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start the outside of the wing. So I'm literally following the line that I made originally. I'm only gonna do a little bit at a time, and then I'm gonna close it and rub. If I do all of it, it's by the time I get done, it's all gonna be dry. And you can kind of see that that line is dry. So I can come back here. I can add a little bit more. And again, if it changes the shape when you close it, it's totally fine. Not a big deal. Okay, open it back up. Perfect. Now I'm gonna do the bottom of the wing. Just gonna do a little bit because it dries so fast. And part of it's just soaking into the paper too. Open it back up. And then I'm gonna do the bottom. So everything I'm painting on the right-hand side is getting transferred to the left-hand side. Okay, and I'm always rubbing. Now, again, if I don't like that it's dry there, I have to find that spot on the opposite side because I can't add paint to the left-hand side, and then I can go ahead and close it and fix that part. But if I don't mind how it looks, I can just leave it, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is start to add some details. Again, I'm only working on the right-hand side. So I'm gonna get some ink. I'm gonna make a line that's kind of like this, and from that line, I'm gonna add some straight lines. And then I'm gonna close it, rub gently. Now, when you do this, if you have a lot of ink, it may close in some of those spaces, and that's totally fine, okay? If I don't think I like this and I wanna make this line a little bit thicker, I can go ahead and do that, and then I can close it back up. What I don't wanna do is just paint in the whole thing, because then I'm not gonna end up with shapes to add color later on. Okay, perfect. Now, on this side, I'm gonna actually do a straight line here. And then I'm gonna add a couple circles. And then I'm gonna close it. If you would rather do a different shape, you can do that. Totally up to you. Okay, now see how that turned out super dry? So I can go back in, add a little bit more ink. Maybe I want to add a circle inside. Close it. And then sometimes when you do this, your lines end up moving together. That's totally fine. That's kind of the cool thing about this project, is it ends up looking a little bit different each time, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a couple more details in this area here. So I have a little creative freedom of what I want to do. So butterflies a lot of times have those big circles. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint a circle and kind of make it thick. And if I want to add something on the inside, I can do that. It's totally fine. Remember though, if I add a lot of paint, it might get a little blobby, but that's okay, guys. It looks kind of cool if it's like that because it just looks a little bit different. It's not going to be perfect. That's not the point of this. The point is if I paint something on one side and I fold it and close it, it goes to the other side, which is called symmetry. Now, what if I want to do a different shape? Say that I want to add this back in because I want it to be darker. If I want to do a heart, I can do a heart. If I want to do a triangle, I can do a triangle. If I want to do a square or an oval, I can do that. And I'm actually going to add, a long oval right here.